What is up, everybody? JT Dangerously. Once again, I am back for my Week 16 NFL predictions. Now, Week 15 just ended with the Atlanta Falcons defeating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tonight on Monday Night Football. So our record finishing up Week 15 was an impressive 14-2. So our one week losing streak is over, and now we're on a 1 week winning streak with only 1 week to go until the regular season ends and we get into playoff football, which I cannot wait to do my playoff predictions this year for you guys in the month of January. So I hope you guys will be tuning in for that. Now, we're on a 1 week winning streak. Hopefully in this video, we'll make it a 2 week winning streak. Hopefully. Now, before I begin, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching all the videos up into this point, especially last week's NFL predictions. You guys blew up that video with over 600 plus views. You guys super kicked that like button 12 times, and we had over 50 comments from you fantastic NFL football fans representing your teams, representing your picks, and as always, representing your opinions on everything that is the NFL season into the NFL playoffs. So, I do want to thank you guys so very much for doing that in last week's video. And hopefully in this week's video, you guys will show your love by watching the video, super kicking that like button, and representing your teams, your picks, and your opinions in the comment section down below. Now, being Christmas is this Monday, I do want to wish you guys a very, very Merry Christmas from the Dangerous Lions here. A very happy Hanukkah if you do celebrate it, a very happy Kwanzaa if you celebrate it, and even a happy Festivus. Hope you guys have fun with your family, friends, and loved ones on this year for Christmas. Now, we are at 280 plus subscribers now on the channel, so I do want to thank you guys so very much for supporting the channel. To new subscribers, thank you guys for super kicking that subscribe button, and welcome to the Dangerous Lions. It is great to have you guys here. And to my long-time subscribers, thank you guys for sticking around, supporting the channel, and as always, killing it. Now, if this is your first time watching my channel as a first-time viewer, and this is your first video, boy, pick to go in if you're an NFL football fan. Welcome to the Dangerous Lions. I am JT Dangerously, and welcome to the club, because this club is just to whoop whoop. Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into these Week 16 NFL predictions. Now, we're going to start off on Saturday. We got a doubleheader featuring the Indianapolis Colts heading to Baltimore to face the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Indianapolis Colts are coming off a very tough loss at home to the Denver Broncos on Thursday night. They just did not look good again. This team is not looking to win anything other than get to next season, start anew with Andrew Luck back at the helm at quarterback. But Jacoby Brissett did have a pretty okay game, even in a loss. Then on the other side, you have the Baltimore Ravens, who are coming off a big win on the road over the winless Browns on Sunday. Joe Flacco had a big-time game. Alex Collins had a big-time game as their running back, and their defense got after Kaiser like no other in that game. And Baltimore is still in the hunt in the wild card position in the AFC. They have a very favorable schedule. They have Indianapolis, and I think they have another team in Week 17 that's I think is the Jets. So, again, Baltimore has maybe the easiest chances of getting a wild card spot in the AFC. So, coming from me in this first matchup on Saturday, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to defeat the Indianapolis Colts. And now the other side of that matchup, it is an NFC North battle featuring the NFC North champions, the Minnesota Vikings, heading to Lambeau Field to face the Green Bay Packers. Now the Minnesota Vikings are coming off a big win at home over the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday to clinch the NFC North, and they're also playing for a first-round bye and home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs. Now, Case Keenum had a big-time game as always. Latavius Murray had a big-time game on the ground. Adam Thielen had a big-time game, and their defense stepped up as they've done all season long for the Vikings. So, and the Vikings are also looking to represent the NFC in Super Bowl 52 in their home turf in Minneapolis. Then on the other side, the Green Bay Packers are coming off a tough loss to the Carolina Panthers on Sunday, in which we saw Aaron Rodgers return after a broken collarbone against these Minnesota Vikings early in the season. He had 13 screws into his shoulder. He was nowhere near 100%, but in that game, he had over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 picks. But to say that Aaron Rodgers is still got it, even though his shoulder was nowhere near 100%, is an understatement. He looked good even in a loss. So, coming from me in this huge NFC North battle on Saturday, This one's tough because, again, Minnesota's fighting for that home field advantage, and if they need Philadelphia to lose. So, coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the NFC North champs, the Minnesota Vikings, to defeat the Green Bay Packers. And now the Sunday slate, starting off with the Detroit Lions heading to Cincinnati to face the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Detroit Lions are coming off a big win on Saturday over the Chicago Bears. They looked good. Matthew Stafford had a big-time game. Marvin Jones had a big-time game. Golden Tate also had a big-time game, and their defense got after the Chicago Bears quick and easy. And they're also in the hunt in the NFC wild card, and they're looking to continue to win and get that wild card spot. Then on the other side, the Cincinnati Bengals are coming off a very tough loss to the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday, in which, if you did not hear, Marvin Lewis is going to be done after this season. And let me just say this, it's about damn time, because this guy, Marvin Lewis, has been there for 15 years. And really, how many playoff wins has he had with the Bengals? Oh, wait, let me know. Again, he has not had success in the playoffs for the Bengals. And this move has been long time coming, because this Cincinnati Bengals team has the talent. They got Joe Mixon out of Oklahoma. They got Andy Dalton, A.J. Green. They just need a new coach to lead them into next season. I think this was the best thing to happen for the Bengals, for Marvin Lewis and them to part ways. But it's about time, because this Bengals team is good. They just need a good coach coaching them next season. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to defeat the Cincinnati Bengals. And now the next matchup. It is the Miami Dolphins heading to Arrowhead to face the AFC West leading Kansas City Chiefs. Now the Miami Dolphins are coming off a tough loss on the road to the Buffalo Bills on Sunday, in which after 1 week they had Jay Cutler have over three touchdowns. And in this game against Buffalo, he had 3 picks. So I guess it was fool's gold. He was good 1 week, he was shit the next week. And again, hopefully this will be the last 2 games we see Jay Cutler in the NFL, because they definitely sank the Fins this season for sure. Because without Ryan Tannehill, this team struggled. Without Matt Moore starting, they struggled, and they went with Jay Cutler as a last resort. And hopefully Miami will kick his ass to the curb. Then on the other side, you have the Kansas City Chiefs are coming off a big win over the Los Angeles Chargers on Saturday night, keeping their AFC West lead. Again, I was wrong in picking against them last week or a couple weeks before. But the team has woken up. Their running game is back in motion like they were doing in the first 5 weeks of the season. Alex Smith had a big-time game. Travis Kelce had a big-time game, and their defense stepped up. Again, I did say the Chargers were going to win this AFC West, but I'm going to change my mind right here. I'm going to stick with it. I think the Chiefs will get it done. Again, I picked against them multiple times on this channel, and they find a way to win. So, coming from me in this matchup, again, picked against them last week. This week, I'm going to pick for them. So, I'm taking the AFC West leading Kansas City Chiefs to defeat the Miami Dolphins. And now the next matchup, it is an AFC East showdown featuring the Buffalo Bills heading to Foxborough to face the AFC East champion, my New England Patriots. Now the Buffalo Bills are coming off a big win at home over the Miami Dolphins on Sunday. Tyrod Taylor returned as the quarterback and had a pretty solid game. He even had a rushing touchdown, throwing touchdowns, and LaShawn McCoy, or Shady McCoy, had a big-time game on the ground, and their defense definitely got to Jay Cutler and the Dolphins on Sunday, and they're looking to knock off their AFC East counterpart. Then on the other side, you have my New England Patriots coming off a huge win on the road over the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday, in which Tom Brady got the lead late in the fourth quarter, and their defense stood Pittsburgh up and got a huge win. They're looking also to get home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs and a first-round bye. So, coming from me in this huge AFC East showdown, again, Buffalo's gotten better. That is for sure. Buffalo, I think, has the last wildcard spot, so they have to continue to win to keep that wildcard spot. So, coming from me, I'm going to take the AFC East champions, my New England Patriots, to defeat the Buffalo Bills. And now the next matchup, it is the winless Browns heading to Soldier Field to face the Chicago Bears. Now this is the battle between Deshaun Kaiser out of Notre Dame versus the number 2 overall pick in this year's NFL draft, Mitchell Trubisky. Now, The winless Browns are coming off a very tough loss at home to the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. They just did not look good. Kaiser did not have his best game. Duke Johnson did have a touchdown coming straight out of the U. So Cleveland is still looking for their first win. They're 0-14 with only 2 games to go, and they have Pittsburgh next week in Week 17. So if there was any chance of a win this week, this is the week to do it. Then on the other side, you have the Chicago Bears are coming off a tough loss on Saturday over the Detroit Lions. They just did not look good. Jordan Howard did not have his best game. Talik Cohen did not have his best game. And Mitchell Trubisky just got smothered by that Detroit Lions defense. So coming from me in this big time in this matchup, do I see Cleveland winning this game? I do, because they have a lot more weapons on offense. They have a fantastic defense. Kaiser, you got Josh Flash Gordon, you got Isaiah Crowell, Duke Johnson, you have Corey Coleman, you have Myles Garrett, the #1 draft pick in this year's NFL draft. And I think this is the one chance Cleveland has for winning their first game. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the winless Browns to win their first game of the season and defeat the Chicago Bears. And now the next matchup, it is an NFC South showdown featuring the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading to Charlotte to face the Carolina Panthers. Now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming off a very tough loss to the Atlanta Falcons tonight on Monday Night Football. They just did not look good again. This is a bust season for the Buccaneers after a fantastic year last year. So they're looking into next season and hopefully have some high hopes to maybe winning the NFC South. Then on the other side, you have the Carolina Panthers are coming off a big win at home over the Green Bay Packers on Sunday. Cam Newton had a big time game with over 2+ touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey had a big time game receiving and rushing. Greg Olsen had over 100 yards and a touchdown. And their defense definitely got to Aaron Rodgers with three turnovers. And it's also a big time deal in Carolina with the owner selling teams. So there's going to be a new owner taken over as the Carolina Panthers president. So it's a big time for being a Carolina Panthers fan if you're looking for a new owner. So coming from me in this NFC South showdown, I am going to take the Carolina Panthers to defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And now the next matchup, the big matchup in Week 16, is an NFC South showdown featuring the Dirty Birds, the Atlanta Falcons, heading to the Superdome to face the New Orleans Saints. Now, these two face each other in Week 14, in which Atlanta won 20-17 on Thursday Night Football, even though Matt Ryan had a touchdown and 3 picks. They were lucky they won that game. So this is the big-time rematch to see who will be in the lead in the NFC South. Now, the Falcons are coming off a big win tonight on Monday Night Football over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're streaking at the right time, and they're looking to defend their NFC South championship and looking to win the NFC South. Then on the other side, you have the New Orleans Saints who are coming off a big win at home over the New York Jets. Drew Brees had a big-time game. Michael Thomas, their wide receiver, had a big-time game with over 100 yards and a touchdown. Alvin Kamara, who got hurt in that Thursday night game against the Falcons in Week 14, had a big-time game with over, 40 yards and a touchdown. But the big man running the ball was Mark Ingram in that game. He had over 100 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. He went over 1,000 yards this year. And again, Mark Ingram is something to say because he is doing a fantastic job at New Orleans. He's having a great year coming straight out of Alabama. The former Heisman Trophy winner is definitely keeping the Saints in the NFC South lead. So coming from me in this Week 14 rematch and the big game in Week 16, again, I picked the Saints last. I picked the Saints in that game on Thursday. Sean Payton cost me that game. So I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints at home to defeat the Atlanta Falcons. And now the next matchup, two teams that are looking to get better next season, featuring the Denver Broncos heading to Washington to face the Washington Redskins. Now the Denver Broncos are coming off a big win on Thursday on the road over the Indianapolis Colts, in which Trevor Siemian did get hurt in that game with a shoulder injury, and they have to go with Brock Osweiler. Now, you know me on this channel when it comes to Brock Osweiler. I go, oh no, not Brock. But Brock Osweiler had maybe his best game this season. He had over 2 touchdowns, even a rushing touchdown. And Denver is looking to next year because this year has been definitely a terrible year for the Broncos. Then on the other side of the Washington Redskins are coming off a big win at home over the Arizona Cardinals. Again, this team is also looking to get better next season. They may not have Kirk Cousins at quarterback. Well, again, they didn't pay him enough to keep him, so they may re-sign him to maybe a multi-year contract. And they're looking to get a big win before. Looking to get a big win. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Washington Redskins to defeat the Denver Broncos. And now the next matchup, it is the NFC West leading Los Angeles Rams heading to Nashville to face the Tennessee Titans. Now the Los Angeles Rams are coming off a blowout, and I mean a blowout win on the road over my Seattle Seahawks on Sunday. Jared Goff had his best game, but Todd Gurley, 4 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 1 receiving. The first Ram to do that since Steven Jackson in 2006. Todd Gurley went crazy, and coming out of Georgia, he's looking to see his Georgia Bulldogs get to the national championship and win their first title since 1980. But this defense is insane. If the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is great in the NFC, in the AFC, but when it comes to the Rams in the NFC, they have maybe the strongest and stout defense I've ever seen. And again, they beat my Seahawks like a drum. Then on the other side, you have the Tennessee Titans are coming off a big loss over the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. Marcus Mariota did have a better game than he did last week, but they just fell short. And they still have a chance to win the AFC South because they still have to play the Jaguars in Week 17. But it's not going to be easy, and they're playing against. It's just not going to be easy for the Tennessee Titans to win the AFC South this year. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm taking the red hot and NFC West leading Los Angeles Rams to defeat the Tennessee Titans. And now the next matchup, it is the Los Angeles Chargers heading to East Rutherford to face the New York Jets. Now the Los Angeles Chargers are coming off a very tough loss on Saturday night over the AFC West leading Kansas City Chiefs, in which the Chargers reverted back to their first 4 games of the first half of the season, doing nothing on offense, picks, and turnovers. Phillip Rivers did not have his best game. He had over 3 picks, and they just fell short in knocking off the AFC West leading Chiefs. But they're still in the hunt in the wild card and also in the AFC West still, if Kansas City slips up in the next 2 games. Then on the other side, you have the New York Jets, who are coming off a very tough loss to the New Orleans Saints, in which they started Bryce Petty straight out of Baylor, but he actually had a pretty solid game, even in a loss. But this Jets team is getting better. Next season, they'll be a little bit of a better team, add some more offensive players, and maybe they'll be even a challenge in the AFC East. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Los Angeles Chargers to rebound and bounce back and defeat the New York Jets. And now the next matchup, it is the Jacksonville Jaguars heading to Santa Clara to face the San Francisco 49ers. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars are coming off a blowout win over the Houston Texans on Sunday, putting up 40 burger on them, and also clinching their first playoff berth first time in 10 years. So again, I do want to congratulate the Jacksonville Jaguars, the fans of the Jaguars, finally getting to the playoffs for the first time in over 10 years. I know waiting for that is a long time, but you guys absolutely deserve to win it this year. Blake Bortles had a big-time game. Leonard Fournette did not play because of a quad injury, but I did like that they did not start him. Rest him, have him ready for the playoff run, because you got Leonard Fournette out of LSU, over 100 yards a game and a touchdown. You got to have him healthy. Their defense, once again, got it done. Just getting after Houston. Calais Campbell had a big-time sack, and the sack chain was in full effect, and the turnover chain in Jacksonville is in full effect. And they're looking to continue their winning ways. Then on the other side, you have the San Francisco 49ers are coming off a big win, once again by a late field goal over the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. Jimmy Garoppolo had his best game as a 49er, over 300 yards. Only the second 49er to do that since Jeff Garcia. Jimmy G Money has been money for the 49ers with 3 straight wins. And Robbie Gould has been the gold rush pick for the San Francisco 49ers. Ever since the Bears got rid of him, the Niners have picked him up, and he has been money for the Niners. 3 consecutive game-winning field goals, and he had 6 field goals in that game against Tennessee. So this Niners team is definitely on the right track going into next season, and Jimmy Garoppolo is their future franchise quarterback. So coming from me in this matchup, again, Jimmy Garoppolo has played some good defenses, but this is the damn toughest defense in the AFC. So coming from me, I am taking the Jacksonville Jaguars to defeat the San Francisco 49ers. And now the next matchup is my Seattle Seahawks heading to the Jerry Dome to face the Dallas Cowboys. Now the Seattle Seahawks, my Hawks are coming off just a blowout loss to the Los Angeles Rams at home on Sunday. They just did not look good. Russell Wilson only had one touchdown to Luke Wilson, so Wilson threw a Wilson to Wilson. But he just got manhandled in that game by that fantastic LA Rams defense. And again, this has just not been our year. We're still in the wild card race, but we need a lot of things to happen to get back into the playoffs for my Seattle Seahawks. Then on the other side of the Dallas Cowboys are coming off a big win on Sunday Night Football over the Raiders on the road. Dak Prescott had a pretty solid game. Alfred Morris did have a pretty solid game. Rod Smith had a pretty solid game. Des Bryant had a pretty solid game. But it's also the return of Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke the Freak. His 6-game suspension is over, and he's going to be back for this game. I know you Cowboys fans have been waiting, just clamoring for him to come back and keep the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card race. Now, to say the Dallas Cowboys have a daunting task to get into the wild card in the NFC is an understatement. Now, listen to this. They have to win the last 2 games. They have to win this game, and then they have to beat Philly in Week 17, which is very possible because Philly could be resting their starters. Now, they also need the Detroit Lions to lose once, and they need the Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons, and New Orleans Saints to lose twice. That's the only chance they have in getting into the wild card in the NFC. So to say their chances are slim is toothpick slim. So coming from me in this big matchup, again, Seattle is just not looking good on offense. Their running game is mostly Russell Wilson running the ball. No running game when it comes to running backs. They're going to definitely need something in the NFL draft next season. So coming from me in this matchup, I think Seattle bounces back. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys win, but I'm going to take my Seattle Seahawks to defeat the Dallas Cowboys. And now the next matchup featuring 2 teams who have nothing to play for other than looking to next season is the New York Giants heading to Glendale to face the Arizona Cardinals. Now the New York Giants are coming off a heartbreaking loss to the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. Eli Manning had his best game with over 400 yards and 2 touchdowns, but they just fell short to the NFC East leading Philadelphia Eagles. And they're looking into next season. Hopefully they'll keep Steve Spagnuolo as coach. We don't know if Eli is going to stay. Again, New York is definitely struggling right now, even other than their baseball team who got Juan Carlos Stanton, and the Knicks with Christian Porzingis. So, again, New York fans have something to have something other than the Giants to look at. They got the Knicks, they got the Rangers, they got the Yankees. So Giants are just looking to finish up this miserable season and go into next season as a perennial lookout team in the NFC East. Then on the other side, you have the Arizona Cardinals are coming off a tough loss to the Washington Redskins on Sunday. This did not look good again. Larry Fitzgerald did have a pretty solid game. Adrian Peterson is done for the season with a neck injury, and this team is just wanting to finish this season off and go into next season. So coming from me, between these 2 teams that are not in the playoff picture, I'm going to take the New York Giants to defeat the Arizona Cardinals. And now the Monday night matchup going against Christmas basketball and Monday Night Raw. We got a doubleheader featuring the AFC North champions, the Pittsburgh Steelers, heading to Houston to face the Houston Texans. Now the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming off a heartbreaking loss to my New England Patriots at home on Sunday. They had the craziest 2-minute drive, the Pittsburgh Steelers, after New England scored. Now, they got Juju Smith-Schuster had a big-time game. He got the Steelers all the way at the 10-yard line, in which Ben Roethlisberger threw to Jesse James, thought it was a game-winning touchdown, but the referees reversed the call, saying it was incomplete. And then when they tried to go for it on 4th down, Ben Roethlisberger tried to fake spike the ball and try to throw for a touchdown to catch the Patriots, catch the Patriots off guard, but they got picked at the end zone. But again, Steelers needed that win to even have a chance in the AFC playoffs, but losing that game is huge. And they also lost Antonio Brown with a partially torn calf muscle, so he's not going to be playing in this game against Houston, but they're saying that he may be ready for the postseason. So, sigh of relief, Steelers fans. You guys nearly lost your a top MVP candidate, Antonio Brown. but they still have the weapons to win. Then on the other side, you have the Houston Texans, are just coming off a blowout loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just did not look good. TJ Yates did not have his best game. And this Houston team, as I said before, is not the same team without Deshaun Watson. Because this team was so much on a high when it came to Deshaun Watson. And then when he tore his ACL, it's been going downhill from there. So coming from me in this first matchup on Monday Night Football, I am taking the AFC North champs, the Pittsburgh Steelers, to defeat the Houston Texans. And now the other Monday night game featuring the Oakland Raiders heading to Philly to face the NFC East champs, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Oakland Raiders are coming off a very tough loss at home to the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Should be eliminating them from the playoffs. Derek Carr did not have his best game. Penalties killed the Raiders. And Marshawn Lynch did have a pretty solid game, but I think the Raiders are looking into next season because this season has just been a complete 180 from what they did last season, which was great until Derek Carr got hurt. But the Raiders are going to be a better team next season. Then on the other side, you have the NFC East champs, the Philadelphia Eagles, coming off a huge win, come from behind win over the New York Giants. They were down 20-7 in that game, came all the way back and won, and they also got the first round bye. And they're also playing for home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs. Now, Nick Foles had a fantastic game. He had 4 touchdowns. Jay Ajayi had a pretty solid game. Alshon Jeffrey had a big-time game. Nelson Aguilar. Now, I've heard so many Eagles fans say that guy was a bust. I watched him at USC. He has proven that he is an elite wide receiver for the Eagles. Zach Ertz had a big-time game. Their backup tight end, Burton, look out for him on any team if he doesn't stay at Philly. Burton is going to be a threat as a tight end for any team. And they're looking to continue the winning ways. So coming from me in this final matchup on the final Monday Night Football game of the season, I'm going to take the NFC East champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, to defeat the Oakland Raiders. And those are my Week 16 NFL predictions. I hope you guys did enjoy this week's NFL predictions. Comment below, who do you have winning all the matchups in Week 16? As always, represent your team, represent your picks, and as always, represent your opinions on everything that is the NFL Week 16 of the NFL season. Let's have a conversation about it. Of course, I'm always on to see your comment, like it, and of course, reply right back to you because comments are absolutely always welcome on this channel. Now, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching this week's NFL predictions. Now, before you go, you can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share it with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. Of course, you can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button to become part of this bigger and dangerous alliance. And I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa. And I will see you guys next Tuesday for my official New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 12 2018 predictions and my Week 17 NFL predictions. Later days. Peace.